Namaste and welcome to class. And today we are continuing our series on relationships, man and women, and exciting different information that could be so valuable for having relationships. And with us today is Matthew Cosgrove, and today you are going to give us teachings about the steelman.
The man of steel.
The man of steel.
It's not exactly like Superman, but steel is another metal. So we've talked about the copper man, stereotypal type New Age man, too spiritual to be able to take responsibility for his life, too sensitive. And then the Iron Man, very stable, very dependable, but at the core very rigid, and you have to play by his rules. So we end up now talking about the third metal, which can be likened to the character of the man, which is steel. So when you say the man, I like his metal, I like the man of steel. So what is steel? First of all, we'll talk about steel. The properties of steel. It's the same basic element as iron. You know, it comes out of the earth, but that element is taken and refined. Like, let's talk about like the old sword makers, where they would take iron ore, they'd superheat it, and then they'd start to hit it. They'd bang it and bang it and bang it, and the sparks, the impurities would come out. Where cast iron is full of impurities. It's full of open pores, you know. And all that has to come out to make steel. It has to be pure, refined, you know. And that's done in the fire, and the blacksmith or the sword maker beats the crap out of it over and over and over. So they beat it, they stretch it, and it's folded. And they beat it again and again, again and again and again, and then it's folded dozens of times, like in some cases, like the finest sword, you know. And it aligns all the elements in one direction. So it becomes a completely different metal than iron. It has become transformed through fire and through being put under the hammer, you know. So in life, the hammer is experience. The fire and hammer are experience.
And the emerald tablets, they say that as our process of enlightenment, there is one very distinctively that is called calcination. And in that process is when the candidate start to recognize his own illusions. And in that recognition, you start attracting the teachers and attracting the transmutation, which we can associate it with the fire. Because experience, you can be experiencing something, but if you're not aware, and if you don't have somebody to point at you,
exactly,
right, and you're not gonna like it, and that's the hammer. You're not gonna like it.
The hammer. The hammer is the teacher.
Yeah, to bend.
The teacher can be. It's rarely just life. You do need a teacher to point something out.
Yeah. And the ego is not going to like it to be folded and to be molded and to be hammered and to be directed and then go into cool waters and then hot again and then cool. And it's in that process where all the impurities of past karmas and impressions and rigidities and
so we take the element, you know, if the element is a soul, you know, how is the soul refined? By first of all, by shedding impurities.
And the impurity is the misconceptions.
Misconceptions,
the illusion, the tantrum, the agreements with reaction.
The space you could call ego, the pores, you know. So the sword, once completed, you can put a razor sharp edge on it. Where it's cast iron, no. It dulls very fast because it's so porous. Copper, forget it. It can't cut. You know, it can't cut it because it just breaks. But steel, you can have a fine edge. So what does that edge mean in terms of a character of a soul? You know, what is that fine edge? How does that fine edge function as a refinement of the soul? What does that mean? Very rare.
It's very rare because it really the sword, a symbol of cutting the untruth, and a symbol of recognizing what is it that you are using your power, because the sword either can be used to kill yourself or kill others, or to put order and declare certain victory within you. And it's been used, the symbol of the iconography of sword through history.
It's being used like, first of all, you know, in medieval times, often you see the sword used, and there's armies fighting, everybody's got a sword. Completely false. Only the king, maybe certain nobles had a sword, because they're too valuable, too expensive. And to be buried with the sword, it's like burying somebody with half their wealth, half their house. Today it'd be worth $500,000, $1 million. A sword would be like in those times it's like $1 million, you know, or more. A sword, and that's full of. So what is it, you know, that refinement? What does it mean to be able to cut? How does that function? That's what that's what we're going to discuss here. So where the copper can't cut, or everything's always murky, the iron can cut, but it's very messy. The sword makes a very, very clean cut, you know, and you don't even know what happened. You know, like the movie Zorro, when there's candles and he cuts all the candles, and it looks like you don't even notice, and then he goes and lifts. That's the sword, like it's.
Yeah, and inside, if we relate that to the fact that it's the man that is able to maintain his own truth, that is not compromising itself with externals, is the man that have acquired the perfect balance between his internal world and his external world, where he's not really controlling anything, but he is I would say we, because it's not only a man, it's a woman as well, where you are not pulled by the external and you are not pulled by the internal. You're able to maintain the neutral zone of equanimity. You are able to see what is real and what is not real.
It's discernment.
is discernment, is neutrality. And when you have a relationship with a man or a woman that have that qualities, you need to be ready not to play games. And you need to be ready to grow and match that, evolving, because it's not something that, okay, Iron Man is just like that. All is evolving, all the metals are evolving. So it's not something rigid. Is something or someone who is inviting to transform you through awareness and through certain initiations, through certain tell you the truth. And you may not like it. You may not like it. But if you don't take that responsibility, if you resist them, you cannot have a relationship. The steel man will lose interest, because the steel man is not attracted to the Barbies, is not attracted to anything that is superfluous, is flowing in life in a very neutral way. At the same time, it's involved with the life and it's involved with you. But the woman is only in a limited vision. It's okay, I only want the family, the house, and so on. No, the steel man wants expansion. He wants to explore. He wants to go deeper in things. He wants to respect your choices, support you in that, but not get involved in that. And you as a woman say, oh, but I want the sentimentality, I want the romance, I want this. You may get it. It depends of the steel man, but mostly it's a relationship that is not sentimental. It's based more in the spiritual connection, that is based in the evolution of each of you. And that's something that as a woman, you are not going to, oh, now I am going to look for a steel man. No, it's not going to happen that way. You won't
even recognize what the steel man is.
And you need to vibrate at that level in order to attract the companion that is in agreement with that, right? Because in here, there is no any more contracts of the tyrant and the victim. It's more of equalities.
There's no more contracts.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Like, because the Iron Man has discernment, quickly cuts through all that nonsense. You know, it's flexible. Like you can take a good sword and bend it over your knee, bounces back completely straight, just like it was. It's always erect, but in a energetic way. You know.
And I want to mention something a friend of mine was asking me to do a video about containment. And I want to add this in here, because only when you are a still person, when you're able to not to react to your own emotions, not to react to the conversations of your mind that are limiting, when you are able to have a discernment of what is the most valuable thing for you to do, rather than exploring here and there and testing things. When you have that maturity, you start containing or offering a vessel for your emotions, for your mind, and for your body, to be in the body more content. So the containment is a super important part of the relationships. So imagine that it's like there is a cup, and that cup is the radio of limits that you have to express your feelings, to express your thoughts, to interact, not to get involved with other people. Your home, your room, where you experience things, but you don't need to, oh, you know what happens to me, I am depressed today, and then what I should do, and what is your advice, and so on. You are not looking outside, you are just sitting and waiting for that to pass, because all this, it passed. So you know the impermanence of things, and you are offering a space, a sacred space to hold, to behold. And in relationship of the steelman, that's what it does for you, because the woman is meant to explore, to open spaces, to be emotional, and the man, the steelman, is the only one really who can offer that big arms and say, you can move the way you want it and I won't react. I am observing you, I am learning from you, I am admiring you, I am loving you, I can even be sorry for you, but I'm not telling you what to do, telling you what to feel, telling you what, nothing. I'm just there for you, neutrally, steady, in full commitment. And that's the type of the steelman that all woman wants. But the woman have to have the responsibility to hold equally the steelman and know what is the steelman wants. If you don't offer expansion, if you don't offer unlimitlessness, the steelman become a baby. It becomes depressed. It becomes with no life. You always have to encourage the expansion, and the steelman will take it.
Yeah, and let's talk about, well, what is the internal position, the internal, what does the steelman reflect, you know, internally? The steelman is non-reactive, is discerning, it knows to stay neutral, it knows to cut things that aren't necessary, it smells the ego, you know, it has a keen awareness. No, I'm not going to get involved in that. It can spot the ego a mile away.
Yeah, and that's the way he contain itself.
So, but this all happens internally.
That's right. Yeah.
So it all happens internally, and it knows ultimately home, to stay home, and home is not a place. Home is to maintain a frequency. Home is a current. Home is current itself, ongoing. It's the ongoing current of life, and anything that breaks that frequency, you know, is able to be cut. You know that saying, easy is right, begin right, and you are easy. Continue easy, you are right. The right way to go easy is to forget the right way and to forget the going in easy. The going is easy. That talks about that's Chang Tzu. He's talking about frequency. The frequency of being, the frequency of prosperity, the frequency of non-control, where the steel man does not control but has everything, you know.
Yeah, it's just not trying to possess the woman. It's not trying to possess his own life. It's just recognizing
whatever you try to possess, you know, takes you down. Why possess anything? like in that internal way. I mean, you can have your own whatever, but you don't have to possess them as something to hold. Either this life, you know. So there's a freedom of the steelman.
And I must say also that the steelman have a stronger movement inwardly, and that's where the woman have the inspiration that invited or offering a balance of going outwardly, because the steelman can be very content in his own world, but it can be bored. It can be, and is that the woman or child or another person who is offering that opportunity of expansion, of going beyond its limits. And that I will say is the danger of the steelman, and the job of the woman to keep inspiring, to keep challenging, to keep molding that, you know, invitation of transmutation with the fire, and keep folding, because it's not, the steel in any person is never finished. As you were saying, it's more in the flow, it's more
it is current.
It is
itself.
current, yeah. Yeah, it's the life itself.
Ongoing.
Yeah.
Ongoing. The absolute now. That would be what you can call enlightenment, or we can call it the man of steel, whatever. It doesn't matter what you call it. Anyway, sometimes when I tell this story these teachings to people, they go, "Well, what are you? Are you a man of steel?" It's like, and I say, "No. Well, it's not like that. This is just a map. It's just a map. Like we all have a bit of the copper, the iron. I certainly have moments when my Iron Man is challenged, you know, and there's moments when the man of steel is present. But it's a map. So for both men and for women, the man, you know, like I said at the beginning, there's no map, there's no model. You know, in the wake of wokeism and confused genders, and there's no map about what it is to be a man. So these teachings provide a map about how, you know, what to aspire to. It's like a mirror, you know. Am I being the copper man here? Or, oh, that Iron Man, you know, I have to refine that rigidity and to learn the proper flexibility, not the flexibility of collapsing, but the you know, the flexibility you get through learning, through being neutral, through bouncing back from the times when you may fall, you know. That's the kind of flexibility we need to bounce back like the good sword, you know. Anyway, so we all can, and so it's a map of, you know, the copper, the iron, the steel, and so we can understand and aspire to be something greater always.
Yeah, just to see, and as a woman is to recognize the great responsibility that we have, because the man consciously or unconsciously is always looking at the woman. The child is always looking at the mom to please the mom, to be close to his mom and see his father at one point as a competition, or like a, how you say, the male, the alpha male, right, in the family. So it's always some kind of, but with the woman, it's the woman who is the nectar of this evolution. Is we are the inspiration, and if we diminish ourselves with our guilt, with our fear of not being good because we don't have a man, or because the man should love us and we're scared to lose the man, I tell you, if you are in that path, you are not holding the horses of the relationship in your hands.
The reins.
The reins, yeah, you're not holding the reins of the relationship. The woman is the initiator, is the inspiration, is the giver and birthed of the man. And when the woman have the power, have acknowledged that power, the feminine force in the planet will flourish to a place of equanimity. Because right now, the insecurity of the man have turned into uncontrolled power and uncontrolled cruelty and uncontrolled injustice. So this is not a simple talk. It touches us in so many different levels, and everything starts with our own relationship internally of the male, female, and then it projects outside.
Yeah, so thank you for watching these videos, and please like and share, because it's really important.
Well, I must
these teachings,
agree.
if you think these teachings are important and will help, share them.
Yeah. Well, I thank you, Matthew, for your wisdom and willingness to sit, and I know you for a long time you want to talk about these things.
I have talked about it in different times. Often young women, they just start talking about that. It's just they want to know, well, which one is my boyfriend? Is he a copper man? And they're fascinated, because there's nothing. There's no teachings out there. There's no guides. There's no map. It's like we're all kind of in the darkness, waking up.
Well, I thank you again, and
you.
I thank you for sitting with us, and I'll see you in our next class. Namaste.